You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 11th meeting for the Michigan City Commission on the Social Status of African American Males. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Commission on the Social Status for African American Males meeting in Michigan City. Today is June 11th at 12:06. We'll go ahead and get the meeting started. Call the order and Pledge of Allegiance. Flags over here.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call.
Stacy Benny,
Present. We're in here now.
Walter Cox,
This is him on the phone. He's on the way. Alco.
Nick Pollock,
Present.
Kenny
All
Fly,
right, we're in the meeting now.
Is he on?
Pastor Dwayne Hurt, Pastor Robert Johnson,
He's gonna be late.
okay. Mike Jones,
Present.
Kamisha Williams,
She had other obligations today.
Danny Armstrong,
Present.
Willie Millsap,
Present.
Faye Moore,
Present.
Taylor Tillman, Micaiah Smallwood,
Present.
and Laswella Cooper, present. Joseph Nelson. All right, that's everybody.
Sounds like we have a quorum. All right, so everybody should have received emails of the meeting minutes for April and May. So we'll go ahead and I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the last two meetings. So moved. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a motion and a second to approve April and May meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying the word aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, thank you. Next, we have the treasurer report.
And it's the same. We still have $3,370.94.
All right, can I have entertain a motion to approve the report?
Motion to approve.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve treasurer's report. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying the word aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, thank you. Old business, I think we went over pretty much any old business at the last meeting. It was stuff that had rolled over from like March and April. Did anybody else have anything under old business they wanted to include? I didn't have anything. Okay. Next would be new business. Under new business, we have Emmanuel Turner, who is the area director for the Indiana plan, visiting us today to give a presentation. Just real quick, for those of you that don't know, my day job is a representative for the Carpenters Union, so I'm big on workforce development, especially in the city of Michigan City, being born and raised here, lived here my whole life. I like to be able to give, especially Michigan City residents, the opportunity for a career with a living wage and preferably benefits. So that's why I love doing what I do with the Carpenters Union every day. There are different ways to get into the trades. The traditional way is to go through an application process. And then typically there's an interview and whatnot involved with all that. It could be somewhat lengthy. We do partner with the building trade programs at the different schools in the area all across Northwest Indiana. And through articulated agreements with the building trade programs, that's another pathway to get into the trades. And then the third option is the Indiana plan. With that being said, I will give Emmanuel the floor so he can talk about it.
Thank you. So I'll just stand up.
Yeah.
All right, how you all doing here?
Good.
Thank you for having me. Again, like you said, my name is Emmanuel Turner. I'm the area director of the Indiana plan. What the Indiana plan is, right? I had to kind of make some notes so I can make sure I hit on all of the topics, so pardon me for reading. But the Indiana plan is a statewide community outreach program in a sense. It's endorsed by the Indiana State Building Trades. And in this area, it's also supported by the Northwest Indiana Building Trades Council. Our mission is to address and correct the problem of low participation rates within the building trades, with a primary focus on minorities and women. To do this, we offer comprehensive services for plan participants whom we call trainees. Those services include OSHA 10, BCRC compliance, as well as we offer a 2-week course. In that 2-week course, you'll receive your OSHA 10, but as well as most people don't know that a lot of these apprenticeships have aptitude tests that you have to take to get in. So 1 week of our course is strictly focused on how to prepare for that math test. We start with algebra. If they pick up on algebra, we take it a little step further. If they have issues with catching up to the algebra, we provide them with further services so that once the class ends, if their goal is to get into an apprenticeship, they'll be well equipped to do so. We also work with signatory contractors in the area as well. So people who go through our class, they have the opportunity to go out and work as a trainee for one of the apprenticeships. We believe that we can increase the population of minorities and women in the building trades via our program because we're providing them with an inside kind of direct look at what these apprenticeship directors are looking for. In the apprenticeship, in those 2 weeks, we do apprenticeship tours. And any apprenticeship tour we go on, when we speak to the apprenticeship director or the people who are making the decisions on who they are allowing into their apprenticeships, they'll say they're looking for the same 3 things. People who are going to show up every day, people who are going to be on time, and people who are willing to learn. And so that doesn't sound like something that's hard to do. So we're just making these opportunities available through our class. So I thank you guys for having me today, and I'm entertaining any questions that you have.
So you mentioned BCRC. Can you clarify that a little bit?
Okay, so in order to work on jobs in this area, you have to be compliant with a clean drug record. BCRC is the collection company that the union trades in this area use to collect and test urine specimens. So by going through us, one of the initial things that you have to do upon getting into our class is you have to go and take a drug test. So once you do that, you'll go into our system, and then once the class is completed and contractors are reaching out to us for bodies that they need on their job sites, that's one of those things that they don't have to worry about because they know that you gotta be able to pass a drug test to take our class. You had.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, sir. So they take the drug test initially to get into the program.
Yes, sir.
They don't have random checks after that?
That would be through BCRC. Again, so our class is just 2 weeks. So once you take the initial drug test and pass, you make it through that first checkpoint. And now you can be summoned for a random after that, but you only get drug tested for us once.
Okay.
Yeah, once you get into the trade, the BCRC policy is up to 2 randoms a year.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name's Danny. I'm also union affiliated, over 20 years experience in the union companies. So I do affiliated with a lot of the barriers. Some of the things that stops these guys from getting into the trades are, for example, transportation. to your facility? Where is your facility, the training facility located?
So our training facility is currently in Gary, Indiana. We hold our class inside of the Teamsters Union Hall. They allow us to rent space in there. And so that's one of the issues that we're facing. I've been in communication with Mayor Angie from Michigan City. We were in talks of doing a class in July, but they didn't feel like we had enough time to advertise the class. So it has been pushed back to October. We haven't hammered out the dates yet, but I definitely will get you all the information when we do.
Did she give you a location?
We'll be hosting the class at the mayor's office, at City Hall.
City Hall.
Yes.
What about license? Are you helping African Americans with license? Because that is a main problem
So
as well.
one of
driver's license.
the requirements of our class is that you have a valid driver's license.
Right.
So we do not help.
Not help with. Okay, there's no. Okay, understand.
We can kind of separately, if somebody applies and they have an issue with their license, I take a point of privilege in kind of assisting them with like finding the resources to do that, but we don't have the resources to be able to help people obtain their license.
But basically, you give them all the core instructions to become
Absolutely.
an apprentice.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, you said that they're different once they go through the training and all that, then they'll have a certification, right?
So once they go through our class, they'll get a degree. And so there's about 19 different apprenticeships in our Chicagoland area. We're affiliated with all of them. So if you go and apply to the carpenters or the electricians or the sprinkler fitters, and you tell them that you went through the Indiana plan, there's kind of marks that go towards your application. Is in like, all right, let's pay close attention to this one.
And then with that, what's your placement rate once they complete the program?
So I just took over in August of 24. I've hosted 3 classes. Let's see, if I'm averaging about 15 people per class, so that's about 45. Out of the 45 people I've had, I want to say about 25 of them have gone out to work with, I want to say 7 or 8 being accepted into apprenticeships.
Out of the 45?
Out of the 45, yeah.
7 or 8 people.
Yeah. And so what it is that most people aren't applying in a sense, right? They come to the class and they think that we're going to teach them skills as in like a trade, because I'm an electrician by trade. And so they think that they'll come to the class and like, oh, I'm going to show me how to be an electrician. No, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is teaching you giving you the resources to be able to find where these applications are located. We're teaching you what their applications are looking for. So once you apply, you can get to the next step. Now, once you take the aptitude test, like it's not on me if you pass the aptitude test or not. But if you get past the aptitude test, then you have an interview. Again, you might not interview well, or what happens is when people interview, they get placed on a rank list, and they might not score high enough to get into the apprenticeship this time around, but their name is continued to be on their registrar. I like to tell people it's a numbers game. If the electricians are getting 600 applications a year, but they're only accepting 60 people, what can you do to put yourself in that 10%? And our class is kind of a way of separating yourself and getting closer to being in that 10%.
And then the last question is, so it's primarily focused towards minorities and women, right?
Yes.
How many women do you have? A lot of women that apply?
Yes, I do. It varies from class to class. I had a class in November of 2024. I had no women in that class. Then I had a class in February of 25. I had 4 women in that class. And then I had my most recent class of May of 25. I had 2 women. So it just varies, with who's interested at the time.
I had a cousin that went through the program. It's been years ago. It was under like 2 mayors before this administration. And one of the problems, not just her, but some of the other participants had, was that it was like see how I can say it, not a false advertisement, but misunderstanding concept of if I go through this program, I'm gonna come out with a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Is it clear cut when people go through this program that they understand that it's not gonna be an automatic job placement?
I try my best to convey that message. So before we have a class, we do an orientation about 2 weeks before the class starts, so people can come and get the information so they can have the drug test done before the class starts. And during the orientation, I make sure to tell them that the class is free. We're not asking for anything for anybody, from anyone. You don't get paid for going through the class, and there is no guarantee that you will find there. Like, people like to take the class because word of mouth travels, right? And if you had a friend that took the class and then they got a job working at a solar farm, and then they tell you like, hey man, I went through this class and they sent me to work, like, I have to make sure I tell them like it's not guaranteed that that opportunity is going to be there for you, because we don't run jobs. We just have opportunities based off of if a company calls and says, hey, we're doing a solar field and I need 15 people. Like, well, if he calls me at that time and I got 15 people, I'm sending them 15 people. Or if I got 5 people, I'm sending them the 5 that are interested. But when I did my November class, November is kind of a slow, that's when construction starts to slow down in our area because the weather's starting to change. So it took a while for people to go out to work from that class, but eventually they did. But
You said the class is how long again?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
80 hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. You have your hand up. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes, you touched on an important part, how well they interview.
Yes.
Even in this building with the union that's here, I've heard that same thing. They did well on the test, but several people were told they did not interview well.
Yeah.
What type of assistance is there for interviewing well?
I didn't touch on this, but one of the things we do in our 2 weeks is we do interview preparation. A lot of people have never interviewed in front of a panel before. So if you're walking into something blind, not knowing what to expect, and then you walk into a room and there's 6 people sitting in front of you that don't look happy to be there because they've been interviewing hundreds of people all day, right? So that's a little intimidating. And then they're asking you questions to be able to, essentially it's the interview is a character assessment. So they're asking you questions that typically you wouldn't hear because you're not highlighting yourself, right? They're asking you to tell us about a time where you had a deadline to meet, but something happened and you weren't able to do it, or tell us about a job that you had to do, but you didn't have all the materials to do it, right? So they're looking to see how well you do under pressure, right? Because everything's not gonna be sunshine and rainbows, right? It's gonna be some days where you don't wanna go to work. It's gonna be some days where you don't get along with your foreman. It's gonna be some days where, because the apprenticeship is essentially like college. So it's gonna be days where you gotta get assignments done, but you work in 12-hour shifts, right? Like, we get it, right? But nobody cares because everybody had to do it. So how are you going to figure that out? And so it's a character assessment. And so what the Indiana plan does is we do interview preparation, but as well as you have there may be an opportunity for you to go out to work before you get an interview. So then when you get in the interview, you might be able to speak on the construction experience that you're getting from the training assignment that you're put on. And so again, if you can get in that interview and tell them like, yeah, I've been working at a solar field about an hour south of Valpo, and they're on Eastern time, so I got to get up at 4 so I can be there by 6. And like, now you're starting to speak the language that they're looking for. So then because essentially it's an investment to go through these apprenticeships, right? They're paying you to learn how to do what they do. So it's almost like $100,000 investment that they're putting into you. So they want to know that people are going to stick it out and not going to quit when it gets tough.
So it's more than just I'm sorry. It's more than just teaching somebody how to think on their feet.
Absolutely. It's almost like a mind frame shift that we're trying to make happen in 2 weeks.
Sorry.
Yeah, say, can you get in a program like we had a prior drug conviction and you turn your life around?
Absolutely.
You can.
Absolutely. This program was kind of geared towards second chance, right? Because the unions don't care what you did before you got here, as long as you're coming to be a good member, right? Because it's a lot of work going on in the area, and they just want people that want to show up every day.
You spoke about the degree, other than OSHA 10 certificate, what is this degree, what does it states?
So again, this plan is affiliated with all of the apprenticeships and the unions in the area, right? With the carpenters, we have an articulation agreement with them that if you go through the Indiana plan class and you apply to be a carpenter, that you kind of bypass the application process and you kind of go on the waiting list. So it kind of works in that favor. They used to call the trades like the good old boys club, right? Steel, pill, mill, you had to know somebody to get in. Well, essentially, we are the people that you know to get in. So.
Can
Yes, sir.
you listed, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for coming.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
as
Thank you, man.
employment chair, I can really appreciate what you're saying. What documentation is needed to apply for the Indiana plan?
High school diploma or a GED, valid driver's license, and being able to pass a drug test.
How about immigration status?
I think that comes with like the valid driver's license. I would believe that would be covered under that.
Is there any other forms that person can bring to elevate them more than just driver's license or
Well,
security card?
so our program is open to the public, so we not turning anyone away. So like there's not even a limit to people that we're allowing in our class. So let's say my next class in Gary will be in August. Let's say I get 50 people that apply. Like I'm taking all 50. If all 50 people plan on coming for the 2 weeks and committing themselves to the class, I'm taking all 50. Right, so that's just how it works. Like we're not turning anyone away. I got contractors calling me, like looking for people to help out or to work on these solar fields that are happening in Winamac and DeMont, Indiana. So the more people we can get, the better. And if nothing else, I like to tell people the goal for our class isn't to put you out to work. The goal for the class is to get you accepted into an apprenticeship. Because once you get a journeyman ticket in whatever trade that you decide to get involved in, that's life-changing. Kind of how Nick was saying, like, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I was growing up, right? And then, like, being an electrician kind of like I stumbled upon it, and then I started pursuing it, right? Like, well, at the time when I got in, electricians were making $40 an hour, right? And I'm just like, man, like, that's without a college degree, like, and it has only been going up. So, I'm one of those people that I started, like once I got in, I made it my mission to, like I need to go back and find the other people, right, that were like me in high school, like you good, like, or there's even the people who get good grades, but college might not be for them, right? They just good kids, so they're doing what they told. So a lot of times people get these degrees and they can't sit behind the desk for 30 years. They want to work with their hands, and so like we have college grads that come and take the class and get accepted in, felons, people who are looking to pivot careers. Like this class is open to any and everyone.
Does having higher education help elevate you once you go through the class? Do they look at that?
I believe so, yeah. So we have this one exercise that we do where we write a number on the board, right? If you have a high school diploma, that's worth $5. If you have a college degree, that's worth $5, right? And so we tell people, like, add up all of the achievements that you have. You got a driver's license, this, that, and the third, add it up. And so then we go around and we ask people, like, if you could get paid any dollar amount, what would it be? And somebody says 35, but then they start adding all their credentials together and they're only worth 12. And it's like, and that's what we're trying to change. So going like, and it's a mind, but again, it's all mind frame, right? If we could get you, because we can show you the resources that you'll need to study to be able to pass an aptitude test. We can show you the websites where you can find the different websites to be able to apply to these apprenticeships, and the emails for these apprenticeship directors so you can introduce yourself to them. But at the end of the day, like, the person themselves have to apply themselves and do the work. And that's what we can't do. And so, again, it's like trying to get people motivated, but also be disciplined and like doing the work every day. Spend 30 minutes every day trying to better yourself and better your chances at getting into an apprenticeship.
Mr. Turner, for our viewing audience, could you share with them contact information,
Absolutely.
website, phone number?
Absolutely. My business cards at. So, our office number is 219-290-5882. Oh, that's my work phone. Please forgive me. That's my work cell phone. The office number is 219-884-4503. I could be reached via email at eturner@indianaplan.org. And you can apply for the Indiana Plan at www.indianaplan.org. And I got business cards that I'll leave with you all today as well.
One last quick question. Is there a second phase to this program? Like, the first time we go through and that apprentice or that person we're educating doesn't succeed, is there a second chance for him to help you figure out what's next?
So I think success is all based on, each person. So let's say I had a person go through the class in November. He went out to work at the Westville prison project that they were doing. He ended up getting injured at work, right? And he couldn't work for a while, so they ended up letting him go. So he had a job opportunity, he worked for a little bit, but it didn't work out for him, right? So he was sitting on the books waiting, kind of applying. Well, he took the apprenticeship aptitude test, but he didn't pass. He missed it by 1 point, and he couldn't take it again for 6 months. So he just reached out to me last week, actually, just to let me know that, he had fully recovered or whatever. Literally, I hung up the phone from him an hour later. A business agent from the IBEW reached out and said they had a company that was doing work in Gary and they needed a Gary resident on a job. And just so happened I only had one Gary resident on my book, and that was the person that just called me. So it really just all depends.
Timing.
It's a
Time is
situation.
everything.
Timing is everything. 100%.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
So when I've heard about Indiana Plan for years, and when I think of it, I only think of carpentry and electrical. What other trades, I guess?
So,
have?
we have, again, like you said, you got carpenters, electricians, you got plumbers, we got tech engineers, sheet metal workers, which would be what people consider HVAC technicians, sprinkler fitters, pipe fitters, boiler makers, laborers, cement masons, brickies, roofers.
Drywall for life.
Yeah,
Drywall's part of the carpenter.
drywall's part of the carpenters now. Yeah, so
Iron workers.
iron workers. Man, it's again it's about 19 different apprenticeships in our area, and that's within like a 40-minute drive from our office. So even into Chicago, there's a couple of apprenticeships that we're affiliated with. So the options are out there, and a lot of times people take our class and they just know like, oh, I want to be a carpenter, or oh, I want to be an electrician, and then the apprenticeship director from the pipe fitters comes and speaks to the group, and now it's like, I never knew that was an option. Like, I think I want to be a pipe fitter. Or we go and do a tour of the sprinkler fitters apprenticeship facility, and people are like, man, they taking applications in November. Like, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna apply in November for them. So it's really just opening the door. I like to call it an apprenticeship awareness/readiness program, because we're gonna make you aware of the different options that are out there, and then we're also making you ready, right? Making sure that you're showing up on time, being there every day, and just having a good attitude. And I like to tell people that our class is it's really a tough look in the mirror because you came to the class for a reason. So like if it's like, all right, you've been working at the Y for 3 years, why have you chose to work at the Y for 3 years, right? Like, is that just the job that you were like really set on, or did you get there and then you got comfortable, right? Because if you got comfortable, there's some things that we need to change because we don't want to get comfortable in our careers. We want to keep evolving and growing.
Yeah, I asked for, is there a second phase to the program? Because 2 weeks, 80 hours is not.
It's not a lot.
It's not enough time to train these kids to read a tape measure, for example, and so forth.
So
hopefully they're coming in with that experience already.
I think so. We have a tape measure component in the class, but again, I'll show you the elements and the foundation and the details about how to do it, but you won't get better at reading a tape measure unless you take a tape measure home and do it every day. So it's on the person at that point. Once we show you how to do it, it's on you to keep doing it every day.
Well, of course, tape measure is the bottom of it. Like
Yeah.
I said, I mean, we're going.
But we're not teaching you how to do trade specific skills.
Right, no
Like, we're just
hands-on
giving you the
tools,
basics.
hands-on
Not
tools,
readiness.
power nut.
No, we're not touching on that. Because when you go to a specific trade as a first year apprentice, they're teaching you everything from the bottom up. So if we send you just with the ability to read the tape measure alone, you're gonna be ahead of the game.
Understand?
Final question. Michigan City, our community is going through a lot of development.
Yes.
Double Track, for example, South Shore, and the Amazon, which is next door facility. Those two organizations, did they incorporate Indiana Plan applicants?
I have not heard anything just yet, but maybe not the corporations, but the companies that are doing the work for the corporations, yeah, I believe they will utilize us. We're in the facility of IBW Local 531. I want to say this year alone, I've sent about 15 people to work from the Indiana Plan through Local 531. So if they're using union representation on those job sites, I can almost guarantee that there'll be some form of an Indiana Plan trainee on the job. Because it's just not enough people on the books to do the work that's coming to the areas.
Okay.
So.
Follow up on that.
Yes, so anybody else have any more questions or comments before I? No? Okay, I got one question and a couple comments. If they go to the website to apply, are you gonna compile a separate list for Michigan City and LaPorte County specifically? So, because my goal is to fill that class.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the goal. The goal, like, because it shows where they're from, and so we'll start going through and sending. When we get that date hammered down, we'll go through and send a notification to everybody that's applied from the Michigan City and Porter County area. Absolutely. And then, but again, we just got to get that date hammered down, and then too, I'm sure they're going to be doing a lot of advertisement for it because they're looking for sponsors as well.
Yep, okay, and we're gonna do our part to help get that class filled for sure. Couple comments, like Commissioner Millsap was speaking of, I wanted to make it clear to everybody in Michigan City with all this development that's coming, that's great. But if we don't have local contractors doing the work, it's hard to get the contractor to hire local residents and local workers. So we need the whole community's help from the top to the bottom to get local contractors on these jobs doing this work, because then people like me, I can make sure that they hire local workers and bring in people from the Indiana Plan.
100%.
Another comment is, I believe we've brought in 100% of the Indiana Plan candidates that have come through our building. What I like about what the Indiana Plan does, and I think this might have some effect to what you were talking about, Stacy, is how many actually complete the program and get into the trades. What they do is they do a tour of the training facilities for the different trades and kind of expose them to all the trades and what they do. I think some people don't realize what it takes to be in the trades, and once they do that, they realize that maybe it's not for them. But like Emmanuel said, what it also does is it may open a door to something new to them that they didn't know about. So that I like how they do that. And I know when they come to the Carpenters Training Center, myself or my colleague Travis Williams, we normally speak to the group, and we do talk about a lot of these things, about showing up, being off your phone, passing drug tests. We don't necessarily talk about the I-9, because the I-9s, at least with the Carpenters, we don't do an I-9 check. Where that comes into play would be with the contractors. So when they go to work for the contractor, they have to fill out paperwork. Typically that I-9 form is part of that hiring paperwork. So I would think that, yeah, as long as they just had a valid driver's license and whatnot, they could go through the Indiana plan and be introduced to everything. It would just come into play after that. But no, I really appreciate you coming here today and explaining this, and letting the city know what options are. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, again, like I'm a firm believer in the trades are the pathway to the life that you want, right? Like you're getting paid top dollar for the work that you're doing, and there's a sense of pride in it as well. So, like if we want our communities to continue to flourish, like these type of programs and project labor agreements, like those are the things that like we need to be looking for and voting for. So again, thank you for having me.
Yep, thank you. All right, moving on under new business, we have the Juneteenth celebration coming up not this
Thursday.
weekend, next Thursday? Yeah, next Thursday. So I had sent out an email looking for volunteers to sit at a table at the Juneteenth event. I did have one person respond, so we're looking for a couple more volunteers, if possible, to tend the table at the Juneteenth event down at Washington Park.
What are the times?
What was the times? The times?
Oh, it starts they want the tables to start setting up at 10 o'clock. The actual event starts on at 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, they'll have the welcome to the Juneteenth celebration. They'll have prayer. Then they'll have Denise of the MBA talking about the history of Juneteenth and Juneteenth history. They'll have a music. They'll have introduction to the stage play. And the Dunes Arts is going to be on at 1:05. At 1:30, they'll have a community meeting for the group that's planning it. At 2:30, Dunes Arts Theater will be doing another play, Pipelines, called Pipelines. 2:45, the DJ will be filling in while they set up at 3 o'clock. Deshaun Gordon will be kicking it with cookie and line dancing. At 3:20, Nikki Merriweather will be doing 2 selections. The Blakeleys singers will be doing 2 selections. At 4 o'clock, they got a comedian. At 4:25, the mayor, the mayor and Michigan City introducing the Muni Band, municipal band. Right. The mayor will be introducing it at 4:25. At 4:30, the municipal band will be playing until 5. At 5:40, Deshaun Gordon will introduce Ed Hollis. 5:45, Michael Jackson performer. 6:15, the municipal band and Carnessa Carnes and Don Red, whatever his name is. Don and will be performing. At 6:20, DJ Dwight sound check with Reggie Foster. 6:45, Pat Harris talk about IBE. 6:50, Candace Adams talking about the Adams House. 7 o'clock, headlining jazz band. And 10 o'clock is the end.
So it's 10 to 10.
So what's our table gonna be doing?
That's all.
Just representing the Social Status Commission. So if anybody has any questions, Joe.
And that we're on there.
Yep.
Do we have time blocks that we want to man it?
We can, if we want to do it that way, yes.
Do we bring a table or they provide a table?
They provide a table and 2 chairs.
Yeah. And we have our banner.
Yes.
The man.
Mm-hmm. So, if you're interested, you can let me know. You don't have to let me know right now.
I didn't get your email,
Yeah, I'll get with you afterwards and make sure I got the right email address
because it
for
didn't
you.
go out on her thing.
It's not on there?
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
I might have taken you off and then you got put back on. Maybe that's why.
Probably so.
Yeah, yeah, okay. All right. Anything else on that?
It sounds like that.
Okay. All right, next is our subcommittee reports. First on the list is education.
We're still working with the group, MOG Men of God. We met with the superintendent twice, superintendent of schools twice. Big push is really seeing what we can do to help them. And so he's laid out some things that they would like help with. Even something as simple as near the end of the year, they were having different, at each school, they were having the events where the students were going outside and doing their games and all, and just people to help represent there. So we were able to go and do some of that. We're waiting back to hear from them to see who actually scheduled to be a part of the school system. Still getting that out to everybody. Get on, all you have to do is to go to the website for the schools, and you can get set up to be able to be volunteers at the Michigan City area schools, any of the schools. Once you sign up, you're good for any school. So that's still our big push, is to get people in the buildings so that we're very visible to the students, and knowing that the staff understands that when we're there, we're only there to help. And so it's really been working out pretty good for that. So
Good.
any help from the area would be great.
All right, good deal. Next on the list is the health committee. Which Pastor Johnson's,
Pastor Johnson, but I can.
okay.
Well, I didn't contact the LaPorte County Health Department. I wanted to, because I've been hearing stuff on TV about shots. Okay, the shots for healthy kids, they won't probably get a shot, and you have to be immune compromised and stuff like that. So I'd rather talk to the LaPorte County Health Department to find out more about that, because LaPorte might do something different, you know, and then it's gonna go down on TV, listening to TV. So I didn't get no actual, information for that. I'd rather get the actual information from LaPorte County.
Yeah, for local.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, next is the employment committee.
Okay, Mr. Chair, this week I have some current listings from Work One. This is for our region, the Northern Indiana region. However, the highlighted ones are for LaPorte and Michigan City. And as you can see, Howmet Aerospace in LaPorte has numerous vacancies.
I know.
So does our local hospital.
Okay.
So take a look at those, share them with your family, friends, and associates. All the information you can get through Work One. The second, the City of Michigan City doing their seasonal employment opportunities for the Vector Control Department. It has a listing of the job vacancy and all of the duties and all the particulars reference to that particular job. The third one is for veterans. We have veterans in our communities that would like to work. There's a job fair Wednesday, June the 25th at noon to 2:30 p.m. at the Krieger Memorial Hill. That would be good for any veteran. And the positions that they have, if there's any left over, anyone else can apply. But veterans are top priority. And due to the current financial situation in our nation, we have seniors people over 55 who still would like to be in the workforce by force. This particular company, Vantage, they are geared for seniors. And this is a roadmap in case you want to learn some skills the later part of your life. But they also have locations that you can apply to work just for seniors. With that, is there any questions? Once again, all of these positions are available through Work One located at 317 Detroit Street. There's a doorbell on the side of the building you press. It has Work One on it. You gain entry and go into the office and sit with a placement officer. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is criminal justice. Nothing for criminal justice. And then social factors.
Okay, well, after having our state person come and talk to us, social factors, we've been kind of looking at the wrong thing. Because basically, from the mission statement, social factors is supposed to be looking at the conditions that people are living under or whatever. So have not been able to get my two people that were working with me to get a date for us to meet. So so we will be meeting, but I do have, we are, like we said, we're part of the city, and I did attach to our minutes the calendar that the city has for the different events that they're having. I also have the Salvation Army, they have several camps for the kids. They are not full yet, but they said they're filling up fast. So I'll pass this around for you guys. Want to take a picture of it to share with your people. And the Summer City Sweat Week #2 is Let's Go. There's a deep stretch on June 8th. Well, we passed that one. We passed that one. Past that one. There's yoga June the 12th at 6 p.m. at Washington Park Beach by the Senior Center. And then there's workout with the Rev June the 14th at 8 a.m. at Washington Park at the beach near the Senior Center. We also, I talked to William, the park department, most of the kids' city camps are full, but some people might not show up or might drop out. So I will pass that around for you guys if you want to have kids that need to sign up for the kids' camps. And then Our Purpose Youth Summer Program starts June 23rd to June 25th, ages 12 to 17, Positive Image, Positive Impact Incorporated. I'll pass that around if you guys have people that need to enroll in that. They can go to the website Positive Image, Positive Impact Inc. to get information about Our Purpose Youth Summer Program from June 23rd to July 25th, ages 12 to 17. So I'll pass that around. You guys can share that information. And that's about it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Next on the agenda is public comment.
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolovic from 13 Ohio Street. I went to the ribbon cutting for the Water Tower Park they had a couple weeks ago, and they had a Taekwondo demonstration. And one of the people that was given the demonstration was Ken Young. Now his dad was the Neil Super Singleton, world champion kickboxer. I mentioned to the mayor, I said his family been wanting this for a long time, and it's overdue. And we need to have an honorary street sign put up somewhere to memorialize Neil Super Singleton. I think we all knew Neil. Here's one of those type of people he enriched everybody's life just by knowing him. So I talked with the mayor, and I hope the board of works, and I hope that gets done soon. I mentioned the Michigan City Fire Department is going to have another round of hiring. They're going to set their application deadline and set a date for their testing, their ladder climb, and go on the physical agility test, then on to their interview. So anyone 21 to 40, U.S. citizen, non-felon, want to try to get on the fire department, head on up to the training center of administration building on the boulevard or up at City Hall and get an application and fill it out and get it in. They take applications 365 days a year. And I want to say congratulations to all our recent graduates from Michigan City High School. Graduation day was Sunday. All our alumni students that all graduated last month from college. And some graduated from the new Lowell's Early Learning Center and all that good stuff. And that's pretty much all I have to say right now, thanks. Oh yeah, there's gonna be 2 members retiring from the fire department. One's gonna be Assistant Chief Howard Fuller after 42 years. I know you probably know Howard very well.
Yep.
And Kozakowski's retired. He said there's 2 retired, but there's gonna be another set to retire until January 2029. So that's pretty, I know they had 2 recently resign, so the only way you can probably get on now is if there's a resign, that's this was happening to the fire department, thanks.
Thank you, and thanks for reminding us. We did talk about the Michigan City Fire Department at our last meeting, having the accepting applications, but thank you for reminding us. All right, no other public comments. Next is commissioner comments.
No comment from me.
I'd like to make a comment on the Indiana plan. For those that, well, Nick, you know, I'm a construction educator myself. Over the years, I've went through CORE, which is the same, similar to Indiana plan, a little more deeper in depth. Next meeting, I would like to introduce CORE. It's a program through NCCER, which is worldwide accredited. It's also an apprenticeship program similar to the Indiana plan. Of course, I'm not trying to step on the toes of Indiana plan. I'd like to help out. Get these kids ready for, like I said, that 80 hours with the Indiana plan is nowhere near enough to even get you started ready for that apprenticeship program. Nick, you know yourself. We've been over, like I said, over 20 years experience in this. And like I said, I've done continuous education. I haven't stopped. I'm in the solar. I am an educator. These programs are in Gary. Let's bring them to Michigan City, okay? That's what I want to do. I am, like I said, certified and ready to teach these kids CORE. NCCR, like I said, is a program. We'll go to this next meeting. Like I said, I'd like to introduce NCCR and the beginning of CORE construction. And I have all information. I've been through this program myself, and as a journeyman, you all know I'm eligible to be a teacher. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, you skipped me, so anyways, I just want to say my daughter graduated from Purdue University a couple weeks ago in engineering. She had a lot of job offers. She chose a job at a top engineering company called Power Design in St. Petersburg, Florida. So she will start as a project engineer and on a 2-year fast track, and she'll be an assistant manager engineer after that. So, proud of her.
Nice. Congratulations.
Willie got his hand.
Yeah, piggybacking off her statements, this is a perfect example of an African-American person continuing on and expanding her daughter's career. There's a stigma out there that African-American people, we drop the ball, but this is a perfect example that the ball is made across the finish line. So, for what it's worth,
Yes.
because you don't hear a lot of that.
Right.
So, it is what it is.
Commissioner Moore? Anything?
No, I don't have anything, thanks.
We got the notification about the program for the vets. There's also a gentleman that comes into town once a month, I believe every second Friday, over at the DAV. He's there to help vets that are disabled with a percentage or without a percentage. He's there to help them to increase whatever numbers that they have. Living witness that he's true to what he says. There is no fee. I started out at 40% and he's got me up to 100.
Wow.
So all he does is take over your paperwork. He knows, somebody mentioned earlier, he knows their language. He knows how to talk to people and get you what you deserve. As to vets that say, well, there's others that's much worse off than I am, away with that. Go and get what's available to you because there's plenty available.
And if you're deserving, you're deserving.
Yes.
Right.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Hurt. Commissioner Cooper? Or,
Cooper?
Yeah.
I have nothing to say. I've learned a lot from this Indiana plan. Didn't even know that it existed. So that's good. I can share that along with my son and other young men that I know that are in the trades. Because my son, he did 1 year of the carpentry class that they offer at the AK Smith Center. But because he didn't do it the year prior, he wasn't able to get the certification. But he did such a good job. His teacher wanted to write him a referral for him to join a local carpentry union. So I think that's great, and that was very informative. So I'd like to pass that along to everybody.
but you bring up a good point, though. So when it comes to the carpenters, even if a student does 1 year and doesn't complete the 2 years that's required for direct entry, we will give preferential consideration to a student that does at least 1 year.
Oh, okay.
Because they've shown commitment at that point. So, yeah, don't let it discourage them.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Thank you. Commissioner Smallwood? Nothing? Commissioner Jones? Nothing? All right, I do have one thing I want to bring up. I met with Molly Heath late last week. She is one of the people that's putting together the Midnight Hoops program in Michigan City. The Midnight Hoops program was something that they did a long time ago. It was called Midnight Basketball. They had to change the name this go around, but they're trying to get it up and running again to give our the 13 to 15 year olds and then the 16 to 25-year-olds something to do this summer on the weekends. Go down to Elston and play basketball at the YMCA. So during our conversation we had, she asked if the Social Status Commission will be able to help out in any way financially. So looking at our finances from the treasurer report today, and keeping in mind that we do have the back to school rally yet this year, and we have a couple other things that we want to do still, I would like to make a motion that we donate $300 to the Midnight Hoops program.
I'll second.
Can we spare 5?
Can you what?
Can we spare 500?
Do you remember how much we spent on the back to school rally last year?
Like 500.
Oh, that's it?
I think so.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
it's on the list.
I think we could do 500
I'd
then.
like you to amend your motion then. Well, I'll make a
Okay.
motion that we get one on the floor though.
Yeah, I'll amend that motion to $500.
Second it.
I got a motion and a second to donate $500 to the Midnight Hoops program. Any questions on the motion? With that being said,
Question, can we have our banner?
yeah, so that's going to be part of, we can also set up a table
Okay,
and we could speak to the youth and the adults that come to the program.
okay,
And they're going to be flexible with us on the times that we can set up.
okay.
But they're going to give us that opportunity regardless.
And the logic was so we can have some, our banner lets them know we support the organization.
Correct. Yep.
That's the
And
purpose.
we will get recognition for that, yep.
All right.
All right, any more questions?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, thank you.
I move for adjournment.
I did, one more thing, I forgot. We have started back to school rally is August the 9th. August the 9th is the back to school rally.
So in the July meeting, we can talk about it more.
Yep, perfect.
Are we having our July meeting in here? Or are we starting to have meetings here?
We have to have the July meeting here, just so everybody knows the EOC room is unavailable that day. So regardless, we were gonna have it here on July 9th. But I think after today, it seems like everything's working good. We have access via Zoom now. So as long as this room is available, I think we'll try to continue to hold the meetings here moving forward.
I
But yeah,
think that's good because sometimes we can't attend, and if we can attend by Zoom, then there's
Absolutely.
that option.
absolutely, I agree. I want to make it as easily accessible as possible, so I like the setup here. So like I said, the next meeting will be July 9th, but we do have a motion on the floor to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.